Welcome back, X Release Show, Wednesday, May 17th. Derek Carty to beside me. I'm Josh Ingles. This is Covers 2 and 3 day yesterday. Mueller got lit up. Castillo edged us with the second last one. We thought we had life with it.
The guy gave up 7 runs. Like, we knew it was a tough spot, and he managed to get the strikeouts anyway. Like, that's just so frustrating.
Yeah, that one's frustrating, but 2 and 3 day. Love the Bowers play. He even got his full at bats. Actually, he didn't get his last at bat. He got subbed out for Higashioka. So he did only get his 3. So 2 and 3. We move on today. Like we said, Larry said in the chat there, the markets are absolutely moving. Everything we've kind of targeted early. We've seen 30-point movements in stuff that we targeted around 8 o'clock this morning. So let's get right to it. Release procedure. This is how we do things. We'll tell you the book we're betting at, give you some time to log in, hopefully give you some secondary books. After that, we'll tell you the game we're betting on, let you find the game, and then we'll tell you the market we're betting on, the player we're betting on, and then the over-under. Hopefully everybody can get the same number. And as we're saying that, right, like there were some funny ones. 365, we were talking in the chat yesterday. 365 was very weird yesterday compared to the rest of the market. It didn't look like they wanted to move to the rest of the market as everybody else.
Yeah. So 365 was acting weird yesterday. Hopefully we can get some value out of them today. So we'll see.
Okay, so starting for release 1, we are at 365. This is for this number. This is the only book that's offering this actual number. So if you're at a different book and you want to get on it, wait for the projections. Let us know your number you're getting at, and we'll figure it out if there's still value on that price. First game out of the gate, Cincinnati, Colorado. We got a game in Colorado at 3:10. A few West Coast afternoon games today, which is an odd Wednesday. The prop market we're looking at is pitcher strikeouts. And for release number 1, we are on Graham Ashcraft under 4.5 Ks minus 180. That's what we're going to play. We're going to play the Ashcraft under 4.5 Ks minus 180. We know that's probably past some people's threshold, but the majority of the books right now, Derek, sitting at 3.5. What are the projections early, and where is the cutoff for the 3.5 if you can find plus money?
Yep, the bat is projecting just a hair under 3 strikeouts. So at this, we're getting a strikeout and a half under. So minus 180 is fine. There's value on it. Earlier, we saw some 3.5s. I think like plus 120, plus 125. If you can find those, fantastic. Love those numbers. Most books now have it 3.5 even money. I think. I saw one book minus 120. So if you can get it around even money at 3.5, it's still pretty good. If you can get 3.5 plus 125, yeah, that's great. That's just as good as this 4.5, maybe even better if you can get the 3.5 at that number.
Where are you seeing that plus 125 there, Johan? Because like you said, everything moved. This was one of the ones that absolutely moved, got crushed this morning. 4.5. Everywhere was about 4.5, and everywhere came down to 3.5. And here we are talking about 365, lagging behind the market again, trying to play catch up.
Yep, exactly.
At the Hard Rock in Arizona. So if that's one of your go-to books, then no, all good. If that's one of your go-to books, and then get that. That's a great price. We were debating on the 3.5 and the 4.5, but those 3.5 sharpened up pretty early. But again, 365 just sitting there. And we're just in the Colorado angle here again. And we talk about it ad verbatim, but it exists. Colorado as a team, K percentage at home, 19th versus 6th on the road. This is a heavy strikeout team that's being priced as a heavy strikeout team that isn't a heavy strikeout team at home because of Colorado.
Exactly. Like if you strip out the effects of Colorado, they're basically average. And then Colorado suppresses them because that's what Colorado does. Ashcraft is not a big strikeout guy to begin with. He's like a 6 or 7 strikeout per 9 kind of guy. And he's going into cores. He's going to give up a lot of contact. Presumably, on average, he should give up a bunch of runs, drive his pitch count up, be pulled kind of early. And again, low strikeout park, low strikeout pitcher, medium strikeout offense. It all kind of adds up to him not really having a good strikeout day. The bat expects him to go under 4.5, 79% of the time. And so, this is a good bet, especially compared to where the rest of the market is.
Yep, 17.6K percentage right now on the season, which from your bat projections, Derek, is even high. You have him at 15.5 compared to some other people who are just about where his average is, but you think there's even some room for this to trend under. And out of the gates, I think he went over his K prop in his first 2 starts, but since then he hasn't topped 4Ks in 6 straight starts, hasn't topped 3 in I believe 4 straight starts. So
yeah,
we're starting to see that number normalize a bit more and settle on about a 5 to 6K per 9 guy at about 15 to 16%. So let's jump over to play number 2 after the Ashcraft under 4.5Ks and the under 3.5. If you could get that at good plus money, we are at we scrapped this one. We're at bet 365 here.
Yeah, we lost. That one moved way too much.
Yeah, that was a Byron Bello under 5.5Ks, correct?
Under 5.5, and I think an hour or so ago it was at like what was the number? Minus 125 or so, and now it's like minus 150 or worse everywhere. So
yeah, that one got torpedoed. He's pitching for a roster spot right now too, as Boston's getting some arms back in Whitlock, and they are in a 6-man rotation, so they might send him back down. But release number 2 here, bet 365, available at other books, maybe 10 points off. Pinnacle, strangely, is the next best price. We don't say that often, but I say that with a little more confidence because this market is fresh. It hasn't really been open a lot, so it's slightly more inefficient. The game in question, Minnesota at the Dodgers. Prop market we're looking at is pitcher outs. And our number is still there. For release number 2, we are on LA Dodgers starting pitcher Dustin May under 17.5 outs plus 140. Dustin May under 17.5 outs plus 140. Let us know where you got it. Let us know if that number's moving. Derek, 4-4 over to the under on the number on the season. But how good are the hitting conditions in LA compared to the chilly East Coast where everybody is? We're seeing some mid-50s temps across the board, but I think Colorado and Dodger Stadium are some of the best hitting conditions on the slate.
Yeah, we have, it looks like 73 degrees with close to 10 mile per hour winds blowing out to right field. So definitely good hitting conditions. It's a good hitter's park. Dustin May, as a member of the Dodgers, doesn't generally have a super long leash. He's facing a decent offense in the Minnesota Twins. And so, at this number, at this plus 140 craziness, this is a good number. The bat is projecting about 16 outs here. So it's not like a huge difference from the line, about 1.5 outs. But at plus 140, that's really good. This wins about 60% of the time. And so plus 140 is really good odds for that.
We're seeing plus 130 at DK, plus 135 at Barstool, plus 135 at Canby Books, and then Caesars at plus 123.
Yeah, so, and you mentioned that Pinnacle was the second. In a few minutes before the show, they moved to 120, so they were actually
exactly. So, you're worried that you're kind of putting on with a Pinnacle number, but like I said, the market hadn't been open. This was a late ad because, the market wasn't open, so it took Pinnacle a little time to probably move the other way. Under 17.5 outs plus 140. I think it's so funny you're saying, well, you're not getting a lot of value, just like 1 out, but you're still getting an over 50% win percentage at plus 140.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll take it, hopefully he struggles a little bit and and they pull him early.
Even as a better at 50%, even at 45%, you're still playing plus 140s long term.
Yeah, you are. So if we're getting 60%, that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's jump over to release number 3. This is at bet 365. Very similar situation to the May. Available at other books, about 5 to 10 points difference. Pinnacle was the closest one, but I'm sure they've moved just as they did on the May.
They did.
Yanks, every out absolutely makes a difference on these. Under 18.5, minus 182, Russ M is saying.
I mean, that's a big number. I would probably prefer the 17.5, but obviously that one's going to win more often because, as long as he doesn't go back out for the next inning, it's kind of one of those like key number situations. So if you want to hit that one, that's probably okay.
Yeah. How much of value is that key number is something that we actually don't talk about too much.
Right. So I would think minus 182 is probably beyond that threshold compared to plus 140. So I'd probably take the 17.5.
And it's interesting. Bettors, when we're playing these out markets, should know the bottom of the market and the top of the market. So when we're looking at unders like that, I mean, the key number does play a big factor. But you're probably seeing as short as about minus 190. You don't see much more than that before the flip. And then the flip on the outs can get us up to about plus 140 before we're looking at a key number. And on strikeouts, probably about plus 130. So let's jump here to our next release, which is Cincinnati at Colorado. The Reds at the Rockies again. Heading to player props. Heading over to pitcher outs. And it does always feel good when you have a pitcher strike out under when the pitcher doesn't have an out market.
Yeah.
So our third and final release here today. Let's go Austin Gomber under 14.5 outs plus 145. Gomber under 14.5 outs plus 145. Here we are again, picking on 365 for giving us massive odds for these numbers. And this is obviously the shortest out market we've seen. You usually don't see many 14.5. They kind of just get held in. But what are the projections here, and what's everybody getting there in the chat and numbers?
Projections 13.5, so it's one out under at plus 145. Gomber is not a very good pitcher. He's in Coors. He's facing a Reds offense that's not great, but it's still Coors Field. It's the best weather of the day. It's close to 80 degrees there, and that's all it is. It's a bad pitcher in Coors Field with hitting conditions, and the bat doesn't think, it thinks he has about a 55% chance of going under here, and we get it at plus 145.
Tyler Jackson brings up the exact same question with that key number of 15 going out for the inning at minus 162. I think, agree or disagree with me, Derek. I think that minus 162 at 15.5 is holding more value than the minus 181 on the other play.
Definitely. I still might prefer this 14.5 to it, but I definitely prefer that 15.5 to the May one.
It'll be interesting if we can figure out what that key number is, the difference between 14 and 15, and what it's actually worth, because there's a massive difference between going out for an inning. That means It sounds obvious to say, but it's massive.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot easier to hit that 15.5. Like, you're going to win. The difference between 14.5 and 15.5 is much bigger than the difference between 15.5 and 16.5.
Yeah, that's why you usually see those 16.5s normalized to a different number, whether it's the other way or the other way. And it's just, it's easier to pick off. So Gomber, 8.38 ERA at home over 4 starts. Pitch count is an issue with him. We've seen him pitch like crazy efficiently over his last few starts, like 75 pitches, 18 outs. But I mean, that's probably not relatable it's not sustainable, for a pitcher of his caliber.
Certainly not in Coors.
Exactly. So his pitch count's 80 per game so far on the year. So there's a lot of things working against him in here. So let's get through those 3 plays again. We started off hitting some heavy juice with Ashcraft under 4.5 Ks, minus 180, markets around 3.5 on that. Even money for the under. May under 17.5 outs plus 140. That was at 365. And then Gomber under 14.5 outs plus 145 for that. Split it, Tyler. Half and half. Ooh, there you go. Nolan Rundle with some big brain ideas. Just like playing Asian quarters, where you split half your bet there, half your bet there. You sometimes at the end of the day, Derek, when you're betting, it's probably not the best advice, but how angry will you be at the end after a play. Like you put into the idea, like if I did this and this happened here, how angry would I be at the factor if this hit or this didn't hit?
Right. Yeah. I mean, all it comes down to is just you just got to trust your process. You got to trust that you're doing the right thing.
And at the end of the day, it's their money and their responsibility to live with it at the end of the bet and have to deal with those rules too. So it's ultimately up to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we give you some ideas, but at the end, it's you that have to make the decision. But we're here every Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, 9:15. Love the new time slot. Let's get this. Love the Wednesday. Love the getaway game. Got some afternoon action. That should keep everybody happy. We'll see you back here Friday, 9:15.